Bon dia i bona hora. És una expressió catalana que m'encanta. Això vol dir que estem aquí en el moment just i en el lloc precís per presentar-vos el que serà una de les, jo crec que de les meravelles d'aquesta temporada del MACBA. Ja ho anunciaven no fa tant, que venien sorpreses. I avui teniu la possibilitat de veure aquí al pati, a l'atri del MACBA, una peça estel·lar. Tinc el plaer d'estar amb l'Álvaro Urbano en Petrit Halilaj. I had never asked you the pronunciation of your last name, so sorry, because I always call you by your name. So, Petrit and Álvaro. So, as I was saying, we are... Perdó, català. Just quickly shift. Estem aquí per presentar Ensamble Lunar per mans a l'alza. Una meravella, diré, de projecte que es va iniciar el 2023 de la mà dels que m'acompanyen avui, Adri, I'm going to say all the names, Adriu Tickman i Marcus Raymond, respectivament, comissària d'art d'Audemés Piguet Contemporani i codirector com Rosa Ferré de TVA 21. Moltes gràcies per la vostra col·laboració, moltes gràcies per el vostre empeny i sobretot moltes gràcies perquè ens heu donant la possibilitat de tenir aquí al museu una extraordinària obra d'art, que és també un projecte molt especial per nosaltres. Per què? Perquè, si recordeu, la majoria de les peces que hem tingut intervenint a l'atri del museu, que han estat part i són de la col·lecció, Lawrence Wiener o Ignasi Abellí, eren peces que es concentraven al fons de l'espai. I jo els deia als artistes que el que m'agradava més d'Ensamble Lunar, a part de la possibilitat d'activar-lo, com veurem aquesta nit a partir de les 7, era també la capacitat que tenien les peces d'entrar en diàleg d'una manera absolutament poètica amb l'espai de l'Atri Meyer, que és un dels espais més difícils, jo crec, de l'arquitectura contemporània dedicada als museus. I el que m'interessava més d'aquesta possibilitat era això, que si teniu, no sé si vosaltres teniu aquesta sensació, però per mi és com si hagués estat un dibuix que s'està escapant de les parets del fons del museu per penetrar aquest espai i a la vegada invitar a la gent que es submergi en aquesta proposta. Una proposta que va més enllà de l'humà, que va més enllà d'una visió diguéssim piramidal del que és la vida i la diferència entre l'home i la natura, una proposta que el que busca és justament això, fer-nos partícips d'aquesta potser profunditat marina que ara entra i penetra a l'espai de l'atri del MACBA. Una proposta interespècies, una proposta de vida futura, una proposta mítica, una història molt, molt dolça, que té també com a fons, com a teló de fons, una magnífica composició, Aimee Pescaíto, una nana dedicada també a pensar com la fauna marina té aquesta mirada resilient, aquesta mirada i aquest intent de ser una resistència en el seu propi medi ambient. I per nosaltres era molt especial no només això, sinó que aquesta mena de fabulació sobre un possible món imaginari també estigués carregat de so. Jo sempre dic que una de les activitats, parlem molt poc de les activitats educatives que fem al MACBA, hauríem de dedicar una roda de premsa només per això, perquè les companyes d'educació treballen molt, però una de les que m'agrada més i que he tingut la sort de participar és com són al museu. I els deia a Álvaro i a Petrit que pensava que era una oportunitat de fer servir els seus instruments, la capacitat sonora de la seva obra, per totes aquestes coses que ens ajudin no només a viure i sentir, a travessar el museu i la seva arquitectura, sinó també sentir-lo i gaudir-lo des d'aquest punt de vista tan emotiu, tan personal. Hi ha una certa... Diré de nou també, mirant aquesta mirada interespècie que és molt important per nosaltres, aquesta consciència mediambientalista, una consciència de defensa de la natura que és crítica en la nostra feina. Deia que una de les coses que també veurem aquesta nit, i espero que tots pugueu venir, és aquesta manera tan simple, i després parlarem una mica més de l'obra, però una manera tan simple i directa, tan poètica, de dialogar amb l'edifici i ser capaç de fer que l'arquitectura del Meyer, per primera vegada, es rendeixi a una obra d'art. I jo crec que jo crec que hem d'aplaudir perquè em sembla que és una de les apostes més significatives d'aquest projecte. Una de les coses també que vull recalcar, que és també molt típic d'aquesta etapa que vam començar fa 3 anys al MACBA, és la col·laboració amb plataformes, institucions, entitats, organitzacions, fundacions d'arreu, no només locals, que tenen molt d'interès en proposar pràctiques de col·laboració i de producció i d'investigació artística. I haig de dir que una de les qüestions per mi més importants d'aquest moment també és fer visible que ja existeix un diàleg que va més enllà de les nostres estructures físiques com a edifici i que són crítiques, i per això vull agrair molt intensament tant al Marcus com a la Rosa com a la Francesca per al seu suport al projecte, però també a Audrey i la resta d'equip de MACBA Contemporani per aquest esforç. Com deia abans, un esforç creatiu que s'ha materialitzat d'una manera també com ens agrada a nosaltres, que és d'una manera col·lectiva. Llavors no vull deixar de banda una cosa molt important i és que tant el que hem fet aquí a Barcelona com el que es va fer a Venècia, a la Chiesa de San Lorenzo, a l'espai d'Ocean Space, que ara en Marcus ens parlarà una mica, funciona des d'aquesta vessant col·lectiva. Vosaltres sou artistes que teniu la vostra pròpia pràctica, però col·laboreu en aquests projectes tan especials, tan emotius, tan transcendentals i que a més ens ho feu compartir a nosaltres. Per tant, nosaltres com a visitants, diguéssim, serem també part de la col·laboració. Però sí que és important, per exemple, esmenar a la Bàrbara Casavecchia, que va ser la primera comissària d'aquest projecte, i espero que ens puguis parlar una mica més d'Ocean Space i què significa aquesta peça en aquest moment. També, per suposat, a Joel, que no sé on està, Joel Mu, a Lu, el compositor musical, Joel està aquí, hidden, que no és només important perquè sigui la persona que porta l'estudi, que fa, diguéssim, el de responsable del projecte, sinó perquè també va pensar en un protocol de com aquest tipus de peces es podien adquirir cap al futur. De quina manera no només treballen amb la materialitat de les formes, sinó que també hi ha una manera de viure, d'experimentar l'estètica que necessita ser, diguéssim, preservada per al futur. I aquest tipus de conservació, tant ell com Alice l'han fet possible. Tot això ho veureu als crèdits quan arribin, perquè estem a punt de posar-los aquí a la paret. Però també no vull deixar de banda els performers, que són molt, però Marco Tulia de la Venice Ensamble, músics com la Cecília, el Giovanni, i que estan per aquí, darrere. No sé si es podeu aixecar. Can you stand up? Can you stand up, please? Can you stand up? Grazie mille. Un dels aspectes crítics també d'aquest projecte és la transferència de coneixement. El que van aprendre en aquell moment, el que ha sigut la conversa amb els artistes, compositors, en el mateix espai de la Chiesa amb la resta de l'equip tècnic. I crec que aquesta transferència era necessària també per pensar en el projecte i en la seva especificitat aquí al MACBA. Però per això també han vingut a col·laborar amb altres performances, Guillem, Adam, Eric, Aina, Mamadou, que veureu aquesta nit, i també la Barcelona Ensamble, diguéssim, que és Tomàs, Maria, Luis, David, Javier, Núria, Pol, Joan, etc. No diré a tots, no diré a tothom, però per suposat un aplaudiment per al meu equip del MACBA, No us puc nombrar tots que estan aquí amb nosaltres treballant, però sí la Blanca del Río, Toni Riba, Jordi i Julieta, que han estat treballant amb els artistes, no? molt intensament durant aquests dies. Com que seguirem parlant, passo ara la paraula a Marcus, no? I continuem d'aquí una estona.
Thank you very much. And thank you very much for doing the thank yous.
Okay, guys, you don't have to repeat.
Everybody's relieved of the thank yous now. Thank you. Yeah, whilst it's fantastic to be in this space, there's this tiny little corner right now, which is like right here, which functions like a, oh my God. That's why it's so amazing working with artists, because they are magicians in finding solutions. Yeah, it's still back is. There we go.
I know the feeling.
Yeah. Yeah.
Love
okay.
warming people.
Yeah. Well, this work. Well, yeah. TBA 21, let's start there, no? As you asked earlier. TBA 21 is a contemporary art and advocacy foundation that was founded in 2002 by Francesca Thyssen-Bornemisza, who is here today. That is really informed by the belief that artists have to be part of these transformative conversations and transformative processes that we currently live through and have to live through, no? Because this ever-accelerating world that needs to be responded to. And this world has become so complex, and the challenge has become so complex, that artists seem to be one of the very few groups of people that actually have the capacity and the agency given by us as a society to embrace this complexity and don't just respond to these challenges in first-degree solutions. And so everything that we do is informed by artists, and artists are at the center of everything that we do. And the work and the collection of TBA 21 is really built around commissioning and the commissioning process. This commissioning process was largely informed until 2011 by research-based works that very often looked at questions of social justice and social change. And in 2011, we took the decision to really shift part of the organization's perspective towards the environment, and not just the environment or ecologies in general, but very specifically the ocean. And when we started this, people asked us very, very seriously, why would you limit yourself to the ocean? And there you actually have the answer, no? Because the ocean covers 72% of our planet, is the habitat for 90% of all life on this planet. So it's not a limitation, it's actually an expansion. And beyond just a geographical feature of this planet, it also becomes a conceptual tool to actually think from and with fluidity, from and with change. And if you want to think about change, thinking with that fluidity is tremendously helpful, because it really forces you to think differently. The key, I would say, program, one of the key programs is a curatorial fellowship program called The Current. And this Current fellowship program spans 3-year cycles, and these 3-year cycles are led by guest curators, and they look at very specific bodies of water. And this third cycle that this work is kind of one of the results of was led, as Elvira said, by Barbara Casavecchia. And this cycle looked at the Mediterranean specifically, and therefore it's not only really beautiful to continue our collaboration, but it's also meaningful that this work is here, because the Mediterranean is the sea on this planet that accelerates 20% faster than any other body of water on this planet, right? And so it becomes this model for the future. And what Barbara wanted to do was really to assemble voices around the Mediterranean that otherwise are not necessarily heard. So scientists, activists, researchers, conservationists, artists, and so on, but very, very, very often female voices, no? And she wanted to really think about what is this collective narrative that is usually not heard, what are the voices that are being silenced, what are the voices that are being marginalized, and what are the stories that kind of come out of these from these voices and from this collectivity. The basis of the entire program in the entire 3-year cycle was one of the very last recorded conversations between Etel Adnan and Simone Fattal. And that became kind of the operating principle, no? This principle of two women deeply in love over many, many, many years, and being really kind of some form of proto-Mediterranean voices, no? But also individual practices, but very then deeply, deeply, deeply entwined. And so thinking about this, we were thinking, okay, who could be artists that follow this line? And so this is how we came to you two. I'm not sure that you knew, but this is our version of Simone and Etel. So, and when we started talking to Audemars Piguet Contemporary, we shared lists of artists that we were interested in. And when Petrit and Álvaro came up, that was kind of the moment when it said, yes, let's do this together. This is going to be exciting. And it has been exciting, I have to say. So this work is incredibly informed by collaborations. Collaborations are at the core of everything. And I think the work that has resulted is not necessarily informed by this idea of collaboration, although obviously your practice together is a completely different one than the one separately. But what it embraces in terms of collaboration is that it's rehearsing a new world to be. And we're currently still living in a world that is completely defined by competition, right? And competition is what defines somehow also, or hinders very often sometimes, the collaboration between organizations, no? Because our organizations are not necessarily set up and governed to collaborate, but they are governed and set up to be unique, right? And so in this uniqueness is also a blockage to collaboration, and therefore I'm really very, very, very happy that we can continue this collaboration. Earlier this year, we opened together the Wutsang work next door, and now we're continuing this, and I think this is really the beginning of a beautiful friendship, love story even. Yes, very good. And I think the same is true for Audemars Piguet Contemporary. In our agreement, we always said, okay, this work needs to travel to at least one other venue, and so this has been fulfilled, but I think the commitment remains that we want this to be shown, and it couldn't have found a better venue than the MACBA and this place in the MACBA, especially with the relevance that it has not only for you, but I think for the really tight-knit community that the MACBA has managed to grow. It's really beautiful also to see this transfer of knowledge and so many of the performers being here and sharing this work now with colleagues here from Barcelona, because I think this is what it is. No, it's not just, this thing is not just 40 objects, or now there are more, no? It is 40 objects that are instruments that are also kind of catalysts for community, and as you will see later, they are really magic. This is what happens tonight when you come back to see the performance is magic. And I can tell you, I've witnessed, I don't know how many performances we did in Venice, but we did quite a few. And people are spellbound, and people are transformed, and they're transported into a different place. And this is really what art can do. So I'm very happy for you all that you have the chance to see it tonight here. And want to thank you, and you, as always, and you for being such fantastic collaborators. Thank you very much.
Time to hear from Audrey, please.
Thank you. Thank you, Elvira. Thank you, Marcus. Thank you, Petrit, Álvaro. I have to say, Marcus, when I saw you under the light, it reminded me of the church. And we did a lot not to have a religious relationship to the architecture, but there was something like striking right now. I would like to thank you all for being here together. It means a lot for Audemars Piguet Contemporary to be with partners from a long date here today. I will say a few words about the program that leads us here, and about the artists and the collaboration we had with TBA 21, with MACBA, and with Petrit and Álvaro. So just to say a few words about Audemars Piguet Contemporary. Audemars Piguet Contemporary is the art program within the Swiss horology manufacturer. It was implemented within the manufacturer in 2012 with the aim of supporting artists. You will recognize a few words that Marcus and Elvira mentioned about, believing in a transformative journey with the artists. That's something that we share as a vision, but also as a mission. So knowing that these artists have the power to reshape our consideration, understanding of the world and of ourselves, led us to this imperative mission to support them on a unique way. And this unique way was not to collect artworks. We are not this type of company. We are a company that commissions artworks alone or together with institutions, with foundations, to allow us also the artists to benefit from the visibility, from the processes, from the mediation that you put in place, and to meet new audiences. And that's why also it makes a lot of sense for us, don't worry, to be first in San Lorenzo at Ocean Space, because it was a position, and now at MACBA because it's a new position, but we share the same vision and mission. We've been collaborated so far with more than 25 artists around the world with very diverse types of practices, of careers, and we've exhibited their work in more than 70 locations because we don't have a space per se, contrary to the TBA 21 Academy at Ocean Space and MACBA here. So we benefit from this aura of museums and foundations that build their own process of showing artworks. I have to say that I'm very happy to see how the work coexists now with this new architecture. And I think it says a lot about the organic nature of the work, because it doesn't only adapt, but it brings a new life. It gives this type of ecosystem that we are looking for when we go to this type of welcoming cultural space. This echo of different forms of life is really something you will discover tonight. I'm sure you will be here during the performance, because you may not have heard them yet, but all the sculptures you see double as musical instruments, which was really something new you developed during the project. And we really appreciate the fact that you gave yourself and your studios the challenge to explore something that brings us together, which is the sound, the music, and new forms of sound and music, as well as you explore new forms of life and hybridity of lives. And the process of working with other fields of creation, such as musicians, composer who is here, was really very enlightening to us also. It also says a lot about your attachment and research about liminal spaces, where you have to redefine your position in the world, but also your nature as human, non-human, etc. So I will just finish by mentioning the fantastic collaboration we had with TBA 21 Academy. We knew from the very beginning that we had many artists in common. It was the same belief with the MACBA Foundation. I mean, it's not so hard to love Petrit and Álvaro, but still, we had to be at the moment when we all wanted to work with you too. And it came to life on a fantastic way because it was very collaborative. And we spent a lot of time together. We spent a lot of time at the studio. We spent a lot of time at Ocean Space. It was cold in that time, but the rays of light would come and, warm us. And now with MACBA, we had the same feeling of a warm collaboration whose objective is just aligning the work, the fantastic work of the artists, and allowing new audiences to come to discover the work. And I will finish by saying that I really enjoy the fact that we are free in the museum, as we were in at Ocean Space, to go around the sculptures. And now we can approach the moon, which we couldn't so much. So it's less intimidating. And this intimacy with the works says a lot again about the collaboration we had. So thank you very much.
Wow, it's so beautiful. Thank you both for your comments. It's time that we hear from the artists themselves, having a long journey. Marcos was telling us, no, the source of inspiration also with Audrey, no, about engaging with ideas in Ocean Space, engaging with artists that interest you because of their collaborative artistic practice. But I want to try to understand, and for people that are seeing us here and at home, what does it feel for you? How everything started for you when you get this invitation? How these were developed, and how you understand that is the two of you that had to, engage with it?
Hello everyone. Hello. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Elvira, Marcos, Audrey. Barbara is not here for this beautiful, actually, intro and giving us a chance maybe to then talk about, as you said, like the beginnings. We were surprised from the invitation because it's the first kind of a commission that takes in consideration us as collaboration after the solo show we did in Berlin at our gallery, Kertlude. But as a having time to work in a new project was very, very exciting and new experience for us. So this sense of collaboration, it started from a decision and a lot of conversations between us and what it means to kind of make that space, create that space, because we are also together, we are married, we also have separate practices. So for me have been a lot of learning and actually a lot of expansion on just starting from us on what it means to give a trust to each other in a moment that I had no idea how the process is gonna go. And I just was feeling that Álvaro was taking a thing, a note, an idea that was kind of floating more than mine. And then like, it was this swimming on like that started from us. And then it continued to really like dive in the program of Ocean Space, which was kind of, yesterday we said that we thought, we had to be clear also that we are not activists, either of environment or activists in real, because I would never dare to compete or put myself on what actually people are able to do for environment and for social issues. But we think that we love to see ourselves as a soft activist, no? Like this kind of using poetry as a tool. And that was the key of joining the studios, seeing you collaborate, navigating together how actually step by step we could come here. And yeah, it was magical. Maybe Álvaro, you want to add something on?
No, I think it's good. It's like great.
Collaborate.
Well done.
No, I loved it actually. Yeah.
No, I think it's amazing, and you talk about something very important that I think is critical to both the institutional collaboration, but as somebody was saying, I think you talk about the intimacy and what it represents for all of us. But following what you were saying, Petrit, I wonder if you can talk a little bit more about what resistance in this case mean, togetherness in this case mean, no? Because every element, no? For instance, we will share this information with you at some point later, but every fish has a name. There is an ecosystem. This is an organism that is both part of your imaginary, but something that you share with us. So I wonder if you can expand on notions of togetherness and resistance that you see within your artistic practice.
Yes, I think it was very interesting also because it's the first project that Petrit and I, we are so focused in music as well. No? We have been collaborating with different composers in the past, but never as an ensemble. No? Like, we also believe so much in how a sculpture can be alive, how an ecosystem is alive as well. No? We have been talking about, this is almost like a rehearsal. No? This can be like an infinite exhibition in a way. No? And it has been super interesting to work with Lou, the composer. Thank you so much.
Lou Neil.
Yes, it has been an incredible journey. Yes. And it's a lot about collective intelligence as well, no? Like, there is a full list of credits that are not here yet, but they will come today.
They will come.
Yeah, I think it's like at least like 60 people credited, no? It's amazing how even actually the music that you will actually hear a little bit later, that we prepared a 5 minutes improvisation little concert. There is actually 2 big sculptures here that in order to be play the composition of the little feast, you have to play it at the same time, no? And this is almost impossible, but it's something also beautiful about this impossibility, no? About how the movement of 6 people can create a composition.
Yeah, I mean, on this sense, like, have been really a lot of new experience for us, like, to expand the collaboration with, from the composer to musicians to, and also, like, we always, I don't know, like, I think the space informs how this rehearsal will happen, no? Like, for example, like, I love how, I don't know, even in a political context we are living with all climate change, like as Marcus said, like in a sea that touches all of us, that is accelerating 20% on, you know, like making the life impossible to so many creatures. It's like more we were diving in, more we were, you know, like it was shocking and to learn all this reality happening right now. You know, politically talking, we go well together, but like our countries doesn't recognize each other. Kosovo and Spain still politically have no diplomatic relation, which is such a pity. And we face like all these cultural differences and political obstacles and impossibilities in terms of actually controlling or having to do something to stop what is happening to environment. You know, like all of this is like, it builds a lot of tension, and we were just thinking how to respond to this kind of incredible journey we took on learning all of this, you know, and how together to bring, whenever we go with this, kind of an ensemble of actually responding to it. Yesterday, we had a tour with education team here, and when I was explaining that we were inspired on rituals, on street rituals, on protests, and actually the fishes are divided on some of them that are protesters. They have a stick, but instead of having a text or a message, they actually work as being, and whoever is moving them, it gives a message, it gives a feeling. And that's idea of like letting that open space that we feel and transform with each other, that's kind of, was kind of idea, like kind of how we can bring this, you know, like this transformation that, and dialogue that started with us, how this, and then we came to this lullaby of Alvaro's memories about not diving into the ocean, but actually how when he was crying as a little kid, your grandmother was singing to you the song, Ay mi pescaditos, no? And when you showed to me this moment, like this very far, in a way, very big themes started to become also tangible, you know, personal. Like when we take a swim, you know, it's our personal relation to the water, to wherever, it's infinite, but that's our moment to it, no? So maybe you can tell this, no, like about, I don't know, I always get very emotional when he tells, no, like, because actually the other fishes actually bring this song of the grandmother of Álvaro with notes that are part of music boxes. We collaborated with the first family who invented the music box, but asked them to change the way they do it and to collaborate with us to transform it slightly. So actually what said Álvaro before, like this these fishes have half of a note in one fish and half of another. So depending on the speed that they go and the movement that they do, maybe they one moment will synchronize and sing the song, no?
Yes, yeah. We are calling them fishes, but actually it's again...
It's true.
creatures that are in transformation, no? There's like half a fish, half a bird. The sounds actually are also quite abstract too, no?
Yeah.
The moon that we have here is also an egg. So it's like all
So
of
true.
these entities actually are halfway, in a way, no? I mean, there's an egg from here, but once you go under the egg, it becomes a moon, no? Which is a lot about transformation, change as well, new planets, perhaps, yeah.
There is something so beautiful, and it's going to be my last comment and question, but I want to highlight how, you say something so beautiful, being as message. Right? So, no, every one of us carries a message, carries a story, which is knowledge to share, no? And I want to highlight also this transference of knowledge because there is an incredible craftsmanship in the work from the perspective of how, to work and operate little, music boxes to the way that this, what you see, is an instrument, and how the capacity, for an hotelier and an artist come together to transform the material aluminum that could be like something straightforward, so simple, but anyway, bring us, towards somewhere else, mythical, fabulation. No, it's something that takes us. I always said, and I feel like I'm repeating myself like an old lady, but I always said that artists are better equipped sometimes to tell the history, not the way it happened, but the way it felt. And I think you are incredibly in that, and I hope this is what we remember about what it means, to be in this Lunar Ensemble with you guys or alone, no? And one of the things that we also talk, about the composition of Lou, about things that you had done with Joel in the space, with the musicians, with the performance, both Ensamble Venice and in Barcelona. It was that the majority of people will experience this, right? And that somehow this space had to contain this sense of the silent. No, you were talking about voices that have been silent, so maybe we can hear them. Something else there, no, in this space. And I feel like if we get to a point where the capacity of what you leave us, for instance, like the rhythm, because I come 3 times to the rehearsals now. The rhythm is in my hands. I walk around the works and I can hear it. No? And I feel like, and I hope that people will hear it once and then will be enthused to come back to feel it and hear it as much as you let us know. I don't know if you want to say something more about the musical elements, and with that, what we will do before we invite journalists to ask questions is to see these 5 minutes. So then you have something also to ask about. But I don't know if you want to say something specific about the instrument, about the composition.
Yeah, I mean, it was amazing, the process. Sorry to talk about, again, processes, but I mean, you have to imagine our 2 studios combined, a process of discover how these instruments could be realized, no? So you have to imagine bangs, trumpets. It was really like a totally chaotic 3 months between the 2 joint studios.
Yeah,
we have one studio in front of the other, our house in the middle with a garden, kind of like an old factory in the outskirts of Berlin. And it was just banging and banging and banging. It was a lot of it was a lot of play, yes. But also, I mean, one of the super interesting things as well here at MACBA is that I love how the porosity of the museum, no? I mean, we were installing at the same time that the whole museum was open.
Like now.
Like now, it was like we were visitors around, we were installing, but also we were performing, we were rehearsing, this continuous rehearsal. So a lot of people hear it already. Maybe not the best part of it, just the beginning. But this was amazing, to understand the museum as a laboratory, which I think is really corresponds to the piece, that is alive, that has to be alive, that is changing, that is rehearsing. So it had been really a gift, as you said, for us. Have been amazing to come to Barcelona and to really respond to the building, the architecture as well.
And maybe just to close, because we have the performers here and musicians, some will come later to start the rehearsals. But what is magic about this piece is that through this process, like you get to know aspects of each other, of beings, and you have this, depending, like 10 days, 7 days, like to really, while rehearsing, you end up by don't wanting to stop, to see each other again and again, because you every day like discover another's incredible talent and movement, what they bring to the pieces that otherwise are waiting, suspended to be activated, So that's my whole dedication is to everyone really involved, from your team of museum to host this project, from performers to Lou again, to our studios and Joel.
Audemars Piguet,
No, absolutely.
Barbara.
That's why it's the only way how this piece can happen, which is outside of so much out of your personal, what you can do alone. And that's the beauty of it. So thank you so much to everyone for this.
Before we go, abans que ens movem una mica cap allà, just in case algú ha de marxar, si algun periodista té alguna pregunta ara, és un bon moment. I si no, després. ¿Vale? ¿Sí? Ara no t'he entès. No passa res. Estamos en directo. Sí, és veritat. Superimportant això, és que demà, perquè avui no hi haurà tant d'espai per tothom, perquè vindran masses i masses de gent i no podrà tothom. No, seriously, seriosament ara. Només dic que demà fem una jornada de portes obertes i que la instal·lació estarà oberta gratuïtament tot el dia al museu. Aleshores, let's go, let's move on to, along this wall here. Ens posem aquí i que comencen aquests 5 minutets de performance perquè puguem gaudir, els que heu vingut avui i no podré estar aquesta tarda d'una mica del projecte. I els rebem amb un aplaudiment, sisplau.
Els micros els deixem aquí per si.